Okay, so the hurdles I had to even get to go through to get to this point where this recording actually works was insane. We have the coquita in hand, coquita time, and essentially, let's just start it off with essentially for the next 24 days, I want to do something really good for everyone. I just want to give back because, like you, at one point, I was essentially, trying to fill in the gap between point A and then getting to point B, which even then, right now, I'm not even at point B, right? Because ideally, I want to start building shit out that, I legitimately want to do. And, for day one, I essentially kicked it off with just giving away my most successful e-commerce stores because if you guys didn't know, or if you guys are very new to my account, I'm full-time agency now, because, the skills that I picked up while doing e-com have then been replicated and even improved upon since I last ran the store. I gave away a store that generated, I believe it was over 200K in 3 months. I believe it was in 3 months. At 3 months time, just depending on, I don't remember if I shut it down near December, but essentially I'm going to give you the why and what things you can improve. But essentially I'm going to lay out somewhere here on the screen what we're going to do to these next few weeks, and I'll explain further in a bit. But essentially for week one, I want to run you guys down, everything that I'm going to be putting out, because I want to do it in an organized manner to sort of give you guys some feedback around on what I actually been up to on the stuff that I've been currently doing, and stuff that I did in the beginning, and it's all going to make sense in a second. But week one, we're going to start off with just e-commerce, so that's what I started off. That's where I made my first, chunk of change essentially. And then week two, we're going to hit it off with actually building out a product live, something that I'm actually been working on, something that I'm going to be scaling pretty soon. And there's a funny backstory to that. And then week three, we're going to go into full agency stuff where it's just going to be me on the fulfillment side, on actually getting clients and, people in my mentorship group that, I've sort of helped out, if they've got a case study, we've already gotten results for said person. And, we're working on building the landing pages, on actually going out there and getting the clients and even coaching some of them on calls already. But like I said, this is just a way of me giving back, to the people that it's just Twitter's just filled with a bunch of people trying to sell you something. Again, I don't try to force, or if I do push out the course because I don't know, if I don't know what else I could do to help you. Because again, when I first started, the resources were very scarce, and there was not a lot of reliable people on the space that I could trust with that sort of information. And now everyone's an expert. Everyone knows what they're doing. If fucking your local guru is trying to sell you a VA course or a fucking high ticket coaching, and there's a lot of people that are legitimately good at what they do. One of the great examples that I can give off that, I didn't know this person within, I think, 2 months ago, and I can legitimately understand where he's coming from and to the point that he's at and at the level he's at just by simply looking at the stuff he says. Luke Alexander, that guy is killer for high ticket stuff. So that's just me shilling someone that I fully trust on the high ticket end, and there's few and scarce people that you can reliably trust. Someone like Bronze, who it's he's not on the radar of many people, but is essentially one of the greatest copywriters I've met in my time. And there's people that you should follow like Email Mage. I don't know if Fraser's a thing, but he's gonna shit on me for it once he sees this. But Fraser, also good copywriter. There's even a Fortnite guy that I met from Packy, ex Fortnite Pro, super good at copy. And the good ones come very few and very rare. But essentially, what I want you to take away, and I'm rambling for way too long, but for these next 24 days, I'm going to give you a legitimate blueprint on, because the first thing you need to do is, people are always asking me, oh, I have this skill. How do I, sell this? You can't do high ticket copywriting. If you're going to ask me that in DMs, fucking, I'm going to block you right away. But, ecom falls under a lot of categories of web design, copywriting, front end offers, building out offers, all that sort of shit. And that's sort of your proving ground. Where if you can sell a product for $29, then you can then go and build out systems for yourself around that. So essentially, what I'm looping back to is if you can prove yourself on the e-commerce space, selling something for $29, then you can then go and do that at a larger scale. Again, this is just going to come with practice. I wasn't very good when I first started. In fact, I was very ass. I just happened to have some classes on photoshopping and Premiere in high school, and that just it went a long way for me because I was able to develop my skills quite rapidly. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not a high ticket closer. I'm not a great copywriter, but I know what offers work. I know how to make or create demand for a certain product, and I know what looks good visually for ads. So that's sort of where my entire thing's at. And essentially, like I said, so week one, ecom, week two, we're actually going to build an info product live, or some of the sort of things that I would do for a client on my end, for my own agency. And then week three is going to be agency stuff, getting your first client, all that shit. But this is all going to be free because I do not, I could package this, as best as I could, make this some high ticket offer and then sell you on dream. But I'm not going to do that. This is for you to then go and, prove to yourself that you can do this. And once you have those skills and you can prove to yourself that you can actually do it, then, go out there and sell the skill. Because a lot of the times people are scared. They're like, oh, I do copywriting, but I don't know how to get my first client. I do web design, but I charge too little. Or there was another person that came up to me with some really weird shit. And essentially, I don't want to waste anyone's time. So, let's just get right into it. And I'm going to leave a timestamp in the video because I sort of want you to hear my story out before, you skip ahead. And, the rest of the video is just going to be how I would improve on the store and what to actually do going forward with the store. Because I know a lot of you motherfuckers are just going to throw up the ads yourselves, and that might work. It might work for a few, but it's sort of gonna, it's gonna show you that they could get a little bit harder with competition. But essentially, again, I'll leave the timestamp if you just want to skip this. But I highly suggest that you stick around because you're gonna connect a lot more with me, and I ideally want to do that. So when I first started in 2019, I essentially came across this just Twitter account called Ray, and he was doing coaching or consulting calls, I believe, for like clients at $300 per person, and he had like 10 people, so that's 3K a month. And I thought that was insane because people were paying him $300, but just in the scope of things, that's not a lot of money. And essentially, he sent me down this rabbit hole of like Russell Brunson, Alex Becker, and then I sort of figured myself out. At the time, Alex Becker was doing some sort of ecom info product, so I ran with the whole ecom thing. I wasn't successful at it, but one thing that I did pick up was some of his old stuff that was SEO related. So I ended up having to sell SEO. I was good at it. I did some affiliate products. I was getting maybe like 2 3 sales a month, but that's not a lot. I was 17. I thought that, oh, I could scale this up, and it became like I was running in circles trying to figure out who the fuck to trust in the space because, at the time, Ty Lopez, Gary V, Grant Cardone, all those guys were blowing up. That was very early. And, I started trying to pick and choose who are the people I'm going to trust for the remainder of, whatever this journey is. So I picked one and two, Russell Brunson, Alex Becker. Let's run with that. So everything that they were doing, I was trying to replicate at some like at some scale. So with the SEO, I was calling up lawyers, I was emailing lawyers, I was emailing doctors. I can get you some free leads, I can rent you out some leads, and I actually ended up selling one of those websites for like $200, which I thought, I was like happy. I was over the fucking moon, figuring out that I could actually sell stuff like this online. And that crashed and burned pretty quickly because I selling SEO on the phone is the hardest fucking thing in the world. It's just you can't guarantee results up front. It's very can you trust a 17-year-old to actually get you leads within the next 3 months? It's very hard to sell, and ideally you don't want to do that even now because SEO is just like I see it more as an upsell, but some guys can pull it off. And essentially, I ended up back at the e-commerce thing, and I was not very good. I thought $12 was a lot to even ask as a product. So my first product, and I'll throw it up there. It was a zodiac necklace. That's the first product I sort of ran it back with. I believe at the time I was just doing like Instagram influencer ads, so I was just giving them $20, and I was with a return of like $200 $300 profit take home. It was very easy to scale this store to 10K a month, and this is the margins were absolute as, but running a bag off the actual product is a lot easier than a lot of people think because I would just have to throw up a scheduled post on IG and make my money back that same day, and then orders would come in throughout the day, and I'll show some ads that I actually did end up running on some of those pages. But that was my first bag. That was when I first started believing that I could make some money online, and then essentially you get deeper and deeper. I sort of now you can't run a product. Back then maybe you could get away with running a low ticket product, but $12, you're not even gonna break even on that. It's gonna cost you a lot to actually run a product that. So I had to increase the price. And the second product I ran was actually a blackhead remover, and that was very popular. I think at the time I caught it very early, or like as it was speaking. So I made a bag off that. And then the last one, this one that I actually handed off to you guys, and I'm gonna tell you the why it failed. This store essentially caught wind of, I was just looking at Apple Watch leaks at the time. So just watching those Apple Watch leaks, I ended up seeing that some of the things that were coming and that people were excited about were the actual bands. And if you guys don't know who Nate Schmidt is, Nate Schmidt had a similar story to mine where he was like he did the same product. I didn't know about this until like a little bit later, but he essentially running a store similar to mine where he was running Apple Watch bands, and I think he had like a horror story or something. I'm not too sure why he closed the store, but I think it has something to do with his VAs just trash talking some of the customers. But I essentially figured out that I put two and two together. I can catch this wave early. If I'm the first one to the market, I'm gonna be I'm gonna have movers advantage where it's like I have the first sort of set to undercut Apple's $99 price point. So I essentially ended up running that, and I got very very trigger happy because I didn't have any fulfillment issues with both of the other products. The products were being delivered at I believe 7 to 8 day window. And when even after the whole COVID thing happened, people were like just happy to understand that this product might take 2 weeks to get to you. But as we get to the latter stages of the actual 2020, it became a lot more difficult to actually tell them that it was some COVID related thing. They were just expecting stuff to go back to normal, and it did. It did in some ways. It did. So I couldn't get away with that 2 week sort of window that COVID gave me. And with actually fulfilling the orders, I found out the hard way that uh, essentially China outsourcing, or the people that are listing on Alibaba are essentially uh, third party. They're actually just sourcing the products for you. They're going to the actual companies and then filling out those orders for you. So it's a middleman thing. You're not getting directly from the source. And at the time, I don't have an Instagram profile. I don't have a Twitter profile to actually see how people are sourcing their products, or I didn't have the right connections to source the products. I had the money to source them. I just didn't have the right people to figure out who is reliable in the space. I scaled too fast, and by the time November came, I thought that my orders were getting fulfilled. They were absolutely not getting fulfilled. They were getting there within 2 3 weeks, and I sort of sought to figure that out before Black Friday, because that entire Black Friday thing it goes insane. It's money printer season. So just heading into November, I thought that I had the fulfillment issues figured out. For whatever reason, ShipBob doesn't allow you to enter I believe they have like a grace period of 90 days before actual Black Friday for you to actually get in and get onboarded to actually get the things supplied to ShipBob. So ShipBob told me, "Oh, you're right. You're right on time. We were about to close within the next week." So I sent out the orders to ShipBob, and ShipBob essentially, you know, went. I believe the cargo flights take anywhere from a week to 2 weeks to actually get there. And by the time they got there, ShipOff asked me if they had like added SKUs. I'm not too sure on that. I think it's just like a variant of the product. They had asked me if I added new products to the line, and I said no. And what ended up happening was I was getting essentially these orders were getting fulfilled at 1/10. So for every one thing that actually got shipped in that container or in that order that fulfilled, there was fucking nine other pieces that I did not order. There was Elsa glasses. There was frozen watches. There was some fucking rose quartz glasses that I would have never thought of selling. But essentially, I scaled up too fast going into that week, and by the time that week was over, I think I had hit over 80K rev for just that weekend alone. And just that weekend plus the Cyber Monday thing, by the time I got word of it, I saw the email. I think it was very late in that day. I think I had a mounted because for whatever reason Cyber Monday just did way better than actual Black Friday for me. I had a mounted, I believe it was 170K. And before you get off like, oh, this guy's just trying to fucking make a story. No, the take home was actually anywhere from 60K after taxes, because apparently people don't think taxes are real. They're definitely not real. I'm X7 Figure too, but taxes are definitely real. Those hit very heavy for that day. Just the rev share I thought I was taking home, plus all the stuff I had to refund. I think my final take home from that entire store was anywhere from 80 to 85K, anywhere in that in between, because I know that I did refund some shit on PayPal. So I'm not accounting for the stuff that I did refund on PayPal, but that must have not been anywhere from 2 to 3K. So anywhere in the 85 period, and that's huge even for me. At the time I believe I was about 20. At that point, I think I had just turned 20. So that amount of cash, and then during that period that I was scaling, I was also helping other people out. And you can go out there and do this. I've actually talked about this before, where you can go into ecom discords. And the reason I was on those ecom discords was because I want to figure out if there's any strategies that some of the guys there could share. If there's any products that are hot that I could run alongside the actual watch strap. I looked into that, and essentially I was helping these people get from 3 to 5K, because that's what I was doing before, just with the average product that I was scaling. I was at 2 to 3K just in take home profits, and then actually getting them up to 5, 10K, so that they have like a sustainable income, furthering themselves. And essentially by January, I was completely done with ecom. I didn't want to do that shit anymore, because I didn't want to have to deal with actually, when you're doing the whole agency thing, you're maybe responsible for 5, 10 people. With ecom, you're responsible for every single person that orders. You need to make sure that that's all fulfilled. But on my end, just bringing on those 10 people gave me like the right experience on client management, on actually helping people out build stores, take them, to that next level, which, getting from 1 to 10K is the hardest fucking thing in the world. But going from 10 to 100K, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier than it is to scale at the start. But essentially, I ended up firing those clients, and that's when I sort of, started pushing my own brand on Twitter. Obviously, I have to thank Bronze for that, but he's the one that sort of told me like, hey, you're pretty good at this. You should probably be, throwing some shit up on Twitter now. I hope you grow your account. So that's sort of my start on Twitter. That's probably how you even met me. That's I have to thank a lot of people for my work. It's not just me putting out content. It's actual people helping me throughout the journey. But essentially, I fired those 10 people. I only one of them actually agreed to a 10K setup fee plus rev share, because I had actually taken his brand to 25,000. So just the remainder of the year, I just completely did not want to do e-commerce. So that 80K that I had made from just this one store went a long way in hiring the right people, finding a first line writer, finding a campaign manager who is actually a friend from mine from high school, and actually building out the campaigns for me, the first lines for me, and then just throwing up campaigns. By March, I had signed my fifth client, and that's where I put a stopping point, because at that point, I believe for we were closing for 10K setup fee, right? That's what we agreed on. Because again, Bronze is the one that told me to just charge more, because your systems are well built. Yeah, you're getting good results. Why not charge 10K? So I charged 10K. I got a close, and then I started getting more closes. And essentially by March, 5 people onboarded, $50,000, upfront. I'm only responsible for 5 people. When I was making 80K, I was responsible for fucking 600, 700 people that had ordered from the store. So the leverage in that, having to manage your time wisely, that just it went a long way for me. And now I'm sort of at this point where I trust my skills well enough to not only sell them, but to actually go out there and build something for myself that I actually, I find interesting. And that's what I'm gonna go into, the near future, where it's like I'm actually gonna build this out with you guys on week 2. And I'm actually gonna show you some of the strategies and some advanced tactics that you could use. But that's it on my story. That's where I'm at the time being. I'm back home, as you guys can see. I'm back home. This is where it all started. So I'm just here to fully go back to my roots, figure out some of the shit that I want to do, and I want to start pushing out some cool shit so you guys can sort of join me. And I've been very nice to a lot of you. I've helped some of you even land some clients. I've helped you guys through sales calls. Again, I'm not a high tech closer. Not telling you I'm good at sales. I know what offers work. I know how to go around objections, money objections, trust objections. So that's the sort of shit I want to be putting out for like the rest of the year to build up my brand. But on my end, I'm more than happy to just scale a product that I'm fully behind. If it's gonna help some other people, I know 4 of those people are some close friends that I met, not even 2, 3 months ago. And those guys are legitimately, I would give the world to, have even a similar amount of success that I've had up to this point, just to get them up to just to get them up to speed to where I'm at. Because right now, I don't think there's a lot of 21-year-olds that are doing the type of shit that I am. If they are, they're very scarce, or you might off the top of your head think of 2 or 3. I myself can't think of anyone, but there is people that are pulling numbers that are super high, and that doesn't, it doesn't benefit me to charge anyone a consultation fee of 500K. Just raise your prices, bro. I'm not gonna do that. It feels disingenuous. I don't think money is the issue, but moving forward, I'm not gonna show my course as much as people do like it. Um, that's up to you to take that choice to actually go out there and buy it. But other than that, I don't want to show my course any longer. That's probably gonna be like a back burner. If you like me enough, you'll cop it. But like I said, that course is always going to be there. I don't regret making the course because I've helped some people in that course, and I've helped a lot of the people on the actual consultation calls. We've gotten clients. I think at this point we're anywhere from 70K and like closed deals just for those guys alone from the course, and I don't think many people can say that. And that's just the insane part. But like I said, moving forward and for the remainder of the video, we're actually going to talk about how I would actually go out there and improve my previous work. Okay, so we're back. We're actually back on the board. So let's discuss some advanced tactics and some of the things that I want to actually improve on. And I'm just going to try to cover base on all the things, right? And then I'm just going to, for the remainder of the days, we're actually going to talk about how to actually go out there and build some of these things. And I might even try to build the store with you up to the point where, I'm not going to fucking spend any money on this ads because I fucking had a nightmare running the store. And obviously, there's things that you could improve. Number one thing that I would improve though is the logistics, right? Right now, I didn't find out about this product up until, at the time that it was, I would have been a month ahead if I had started running this product right now, which is it's a very good thing to say. So movers advantage, you're gonna be the first one in the market. There's more likely gonna be another Apple Watch releasing pretty soon. Along with that, there's gonna be some straps. So you have movers advantage, right? So you're gonna be the first one on the market, and a lot of people already caught the thing. What you don't, the first thing that you definitely don't want to do is you're gonna actually get those ads and then throw them up. They could work. I'm telling you, they're 100%. I think one of those ads is one that actually made like 20, 30K rev anywhere in that sort of scope. And the other ones that I couldn't put out was because they had some branding. If you're interested in those, just hit my line, hit my DMs. I'm not too hot on how if I'm gonna give them to you because they're branded, but if you want to like buy them off me, I'm more than happy. If that's something that you want to do, then sure. But they're branded, and I'm gonna have to work with you to actually get the branding off because they're mine, regardless. So the first thing that I would actually do is figure out the fucking fulfillment of this, right? The first thing you want to do is you want to figure out the fulfillment because if you don't have the fulfillment of this, this is I don't know what this is anymore. This is an Apple Watch stand. This is your Apple Watch, right? So you're going to fulfill the order for these actual Apple Watches. And the way I'd like to do it, and as much as I don't trust Alibaba, I think at the time being, if you don't have any direct connections to anyone in ecom, there's not many places where you can source this from reliably. But Alibaba is going to be your number one thing. You're going to place a bulk order. You're going to ship them out to ShipBob. And just to let you know ahead of time, do not use any drop shipping apps. Do not use any drop shipping ads, your Umbrellas, your I think for the ready ones are fine for you to use, but the umbrella, your drop shipping ads that are gonna automatically fulfill orders for you, all that shit is already flagged by Shopify because they want to kick out drop shippers from their entire platform. And the penalty for it, just for you even installing the app, is gonna be them holding your bag for 25% for 120 days, and within that 120-day period, you cannot actually go out there and actually claim the money that it is owed. And if for whatever reason you do get some chargebacks, I think it's 1 to 2% chargeback. If one, you say you ordered 100 people and only one or two of those charged back, then you're fucked. They're gonna keep that money. But essentially, this Apple Watch, try to get the fulfillment as best as possible. My solution would just be, if you're just starting out, to actually ship these out from home, because I know there's an app. I don't know what it is. I think it's UPS Pirate or some shit like that. It has like a pirate logo, but that pirate logo essentially gives you very cheap UPS postage stamps. So I mean, shipping them out from your house, it seems like, well, I don't, you're doing drop shipping, and drop shipping is just a fulfillment model. Ideally, you want to scale this up to a brand, and we'll go into like branding tactics that I would actually do. But the number one thing is logistics is literally king. If you can figure out how you can ship these out within, anywhere from 5 to 7 days, you can actually start charging for shipping. And I think that you should definitely do this because it would help your margins anywhere from $2 to $3 extra for shipping. And then once they go above a certain price value, which you want to have some upsells in that actual product page, then you don't charge shipping because again, your margins are very nice and healthy with this product because the person you're competing against is Apple. And Apple just likes those fucking crazy insane markups, which is, if the new watch strap is $99, which I can almost guarantee it is gonna be $99. If you can just like even cut this in half and just even better if you can go 60-70% and just charge the pricing that I was doing is $34, and then with the full upsell it was just another $20. So your average order is like $64. Your cost to ship out with the actual UPS, no USPS, my bad. With actual USPS is it's gonna run you up. On average, it costs like $3 or $4 to actually get these from Alibaba, which is fucking insane. And then to ship them out, it's gonna be since you're shipping out two Apple Watch again, you could do either or. With your margins just work better if you have an upsell. This is the breadwinner right here. $3 to $4 to get the actual, to actually buy the product and then to actually ship it out. I believe it's gonna run you anywhere from I'm doing quick maths here. $12 at best, and that's with no post upsell, checkout. Maybe you want to sell an exclusive watch, an exclusive watch brand collection that is not listed on the store. That fucking works wonders. That's actually how I set up my post so upsell. But that's if you want to like do the whole email marketing thing. If you have that experience, I highly suggest you do that. On the other front that I would actually improve on is not just on the shipping times, figuring out the quality. Again, ideally you want to see the product yourself because a lot of these Alibaba things, and they don't tell you this up front, but they're just third party people that actually go and get the product for you and that are going to ship it over through freight, through whatever the fuck. But essentially placing bulk orders and getting the entire fulfillment out is going to be your first, really big obstacle. And, if you can get this right and you can get the margins better than me and, not fuck up on like on that front where I did, was I didn't, I was just, I was making all this fucking money and not worrying too much about fulfillment when fulfillment was the key issue that killed my entire operation. Definitely do not do this. Another thing that I would suggest, and I don't know how to scroll to this, I'm just gonna delete this. I don't know. Another thing that I would actually go out there and do is actually figuring out how to bundle these. Because one thing that I really wanted to do, but I was just like too focused on the delivery issues, but actually bundling three sets of actual straps. So you're gonna in the product list that I gave you, there's around anywhere from 10 to 15 straps. If you were to bundle these Apple Watch straps, in three, so say that you get them three styles for $99, that's already better than what actually happens when Apple is just charging $300 for actually more because I've seen some of the prices. I know it's $300, so you're undercutting them by almost one third. And I can almost guarantee you this offer is going to get taken up quite nicely because, again, once you're in the e-commerce space, ideally the best thing that you could do is make sure that that product that you're selling is either a consumable or reusable or it goes out of style pretty quick because then you can then go and have retention based email. So another thing that I want to touch base with you is for you just not to throw up the ads as it is really simple to just go out there and like throw up ads. I do think that that's like the easiest part. In my opinion, that's the easiest thing you could do. And give me one second. Let me just delete it. Okay, I can just scroll it away. Not even gonna worry about it. Another thing that you want to do is the way people essentially look at drop shipping is, I throw up an ad and then, they go to a product page, you have your upsells, you have your bundles, what I just talked about. So your landing page is here and, again, copywriting goes here, copywriting goes here, web design goes here, front end offers goes here. So you see where there's a bunch of skills that you could actually, if you have a set, you have set skill and you're really skillful at that one thing, you might kill it in one of these areas and then you can then go and do the agency thing where you just sell this as a system. But that's just like a side thing. But essentially, people, this is how traditional dropshipping and e-commerce works for a lot of people, and this is where a lot of the money is being left out. And I'll go into some advanced tactics a little bit later, but this is essentially what it looks like at the bare bones. And then, once, say they have like a 3% conversion rate, then money printer go brr, right? It goes brr, but then there's only like, say,
you're only going to get 100 K people, in this area. And I can actually tell you this right now by memory. There's 4 million in that actual Apple Watch interest. So say out of that 4 million, your goal is to get 1% of that. I'm not going to do the math. I'm very stupid. But I believe 1% of that is more or less 100K, I think. So your goal isn't even 100K. It's actually less than that. Anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 orders is well over the $1 million mark, in my opinion. I think this is where I was at the time, and I think I had to refund at least 30 to 45 orders, and that's because I saved it towards the end. I actually did save the operation a little bit, but I didn't want to deal with that. So ideally, this is sort of the golden ratio. You have to convince 3,000 people to buy an Apple Watch strap that's literally half, 60% underpriced versus Apple. That's very, very easy to do. But the way people like to look at it, this works and this works, perfectly, right? But it really doesn't once you consider your ad cost, once you consider your cost per acquisition. And again, this is with a product that has very healthy margins. So you could totally do this. I green like this actually because if this is as bare bones as it gets in terms of strategy, there's things that you could do to scale this product even further. And that's sort of what I wanted to talk to you about because it's very easy for me to give you the ads, give you the store, you're going to write your own product page, and then money printer go brr, but you can make the money printer go brr for longer. Okay? So let's just explain some of the advanced tactics and ideally how I would run the store if I were to run it again. So a lot of this has to do with me actually, figuring out that this is sort of what I wanted to do all along, and figuring out that this works infinitely better. Having a product, ideally, you like it to be an info product that runs alongside your main product. So a good example of this, and I saw this actually on Twitter a couple months ago, and I thought it was brilliant. But essentially, they were doing a dumbbell giveaway, right? So they're doing a dumbbell giveaway. It was, sign up and, you could receive this dumbbell. And essentially what that told them was that people were interested in dumbbells. And what they ended up doing was they actually ended up giving away one dumbbell, which say they spent $1,000 running this ad, right? $1,000 and say that, they broke even. So they made their $1,000 back, right? Though they can't do that because it's giveaway, correct? Okay, so they're not gonna make, they're losing money on the front end, correct? So they're gonna go out there and spend $1,000. They're not gonna make any money, which kills. The other one just seems better. But let me explain to you why this actually worked fucking brilliantly, because with this $1,000 spent, they then brought in, let's just say on average, they were bringing on people, getting email leads for $4 to $5, right? So out of this, five, I don't know how to do math. I'm so sorry. Say that they brought on 200 email leads, right? So they got 200 email leads, right, that are interested in dumbbells. So then, what's the most logical thing to do? Do you just, oh, well, this didn't make any money, and we're still gonna have to give the dumbbell away, which is gonna be like $70 to, actually get and ship out. Or what you could do, and what they did, it was so fucking brilliant that it makes sense if you know these strategies. So what they actually ended up doing was then they sold a course for stay at home, because again, I believe this was they ran this during COVID, so it's a little bit twisted, but essentially not twisted as in bad. It's just like it was ideal at the time. So they had 200 email leads. Their take up on that offer was anywhere from 40 to 30%, meaning that uh, anywhere from 90 to 80 people took up this offer. And essentially what they did was because the people were already interested in, getting a dumbbell. It's people that are actively working out that are looking to get into dumbbell. They're going to get a dumbbell exercise. It makes every single sense. They actually sold a dumbbell only workout plan for, I believe it was $19. So yeah, I mean, do the math here. I believe they not only they broke even, right? Uh, let me, let me pull up my trusty calculator because I know I'm fucking up the math here somewhere. So they did 90 times 90. I'm so stupid. So my trusty calculator right here is telling me that they actually made 1,700 back, right? And that's just on a fitness course, which they're also going to need a dumbbell for if they don't have a dumbbell that they signed up for. So you see where this money printer at the front end just fucking works. And because they did not product, and again, their main offer wasn't even the dumbbell, it was actually this fitness course. But now, in order for them to even take up on the fitness course, they now need their main product, which was their dumbbell. Money printer does go burr when you do put it like this. So the way this will work for a watch band, and this is just something that again I'm gonna expand on and how to actually go out there and build out the entire thing for you. And I'm actually gonna build this out throughout the next days, but this is just giving you an overview of how this is gonna work and how we're gonna do this for like the next week. And then next week we'll get into how to actually sell this as a system because this just works for e-commerce brands in general. So the way this would work for a watch band, right, is you would throw up an ad for leads, right? So say you only have $500 right now, right, and you don't want to buy the actual watch band, so just at the time being, what you could essentially do is say you throw $500 and you do Apple Watch, Apple strap watch, whatever the fuck, giveaway. And I'm not saying it could be a giveaway. It could be many sorts of things. As you can see, I know one that worked really well, and I hate talking about this because I try to replicate it, and it to some degree it did work, but I just didn't know how to actually funnel people back. What I ended up seeing was just a personality Apple Watch quiz, which is fucking insane. I bet you that that other brand actually made a killing with that. So it was an Apple Watch quiz was like find your Apple Watch personality, and for whatever reason, that shit was getting clicks. And say you throw up you throw up ads for like a giveaway, so you're giving back as a front end thing, right? Because you don't have to fulfill an order right away. And this just works ideally if you can figure out if you can go out there and figure out how to build an info product for this actual like product. I'll give you a high five and I'll throw you $500, just because you're that fucking smart. Because I could not figure out how to run an info product as a front end because I can't think or fathom how the fuck to set up as an info product. But an Apple Watch giveaway just works fine because then you're gonna get, say you throw out $500 and you do get some leads for like the same rate, anywhere from $3 to $5 just works fine. So say let's just go at the highest tier. Like let's say worst case scenario you do get the $5, right? So that means that you get 100 people in your list, but you're also down $500. But here's the beauty of having front end products and building out the system is now once they get into this thing, you can then offer them exclusive styles that are not listed in your store, or the thing that we're going to build out next week is actually going to be a pre-order funnel. We're actually going to build that live, but for the sake of this video, right, so say you only got 100 email leads for this, for these ads. So you say you got 100 email leads, so now you're going to funnel them back to your actual like product. And ideally what you want to do is you want to have two Apple Watch, because the thing is once you ship out two straps together, the value does go up in the order, but your shipping costs don't go up because they're not that heavy. They're very easy to package and actually ship out. So ideally you want to give them cut them a deal for set amount of watch. So say that oh, we have exclusive brands. You can pick out these two watch brands, and it'll actually increase your chances of winning the giveaway. And say you're going off a point system, it'll give you three more entries into the actual giveaway if we take this up right now. So say they do take up at anywhere from, let's just say a 5% does take up because you already know they're interested in, right? So not only did you already break even, you broke even with something that you don't even have to really think about, right? And these email leads, then, you can then actually farm, retarget, and actually sell the premium Apple Watch strap. So this system just works perfectly at a front end because if you just throw up an ad and then throw up the product page, then that's your only way, that's the only mechanism that is going to work out for you, and you're dependent on the ad to perform, or you're dependent on the actual product to perform to even make money. With this you can prove the offers before you even run them. It's very cheap. You can get people in real quick, and if you already well seasoned at email marketing, this fucking kills because then you have like an infinite amount of leads coming in, because as long as you break even on this second offer, then you can keep bringing in leads. Because say you do break even with this unlisted Apple Watch, strap, then you have another $500 to go around and play with. Throw more in there. Now you have 200 people. Say the same thing happens, 5% take up rate, then you have another $500, and then you throw this up, you have 300 people now on your list. And now these 300 people are interested and they like your brand. They're associating your brand with, okay, well, these guys might give me a watch strap if I keep entering. Again, this might seem a little bit like scummy to say that it's a giveaway. Obviously, you should give away because by law you're required to give away. But like I said, it's an infinite amount of leads that you're going to be coming in, and they're going to be interested again. The only downside with actual giveaways is that people, you might get some freeloaders in there where they're not like a buying list, so you could actually tripwire entries into the giveaway. But again, that's a little bit more advanced. We'll talk about that, as we go along. But essentially, building out a front end like this, if you can get this down for yourself and you can figure out how to actually make this work for the product, then not only kudos to you, you can actually go out there and sell this at a very high ticket, at a premium for all these e-commerce brands, because not a lot of people are thinking like this. And then not only that, let me just go into further detail about what the other thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to help you build up your backend, because emails go a little bit further than your post sale, your post sale. So once they buy, they're sent down a post sale up so that you can do your customer win back. So meaning that if your customer for whatever reason didn't purchase, we get those back. Oh, no, my bad. Customer win backs is once they've already purchased, but then you have your abandoned checkout emails that you should, again, people like to think that the whole email thing is like a bonus round where it's like, well, I'm just gonna throw up an ad, throw up a product, and then hope fucking everything works and life is happy, and something happens, something magical happens. Maybe you get two coquitas and now you can actually afford to not drink water anymore. So it shouldn't work like that. You should think about this as building out a proper system, building out a legitimate brand, and having these strategies goes a long way because you can scale faster than me. And as long as you get those logistics in, then you're you're in for a fucking treat, because I believe this product itself can, you can get this up to the 500, half a mil red ranges, just if you're like able to have this as a concurrent thing throughout the entire year. This is very good for you, because if you focus on the front end, building out some front end offers, if you focus on the back end, on actually having these, and again, this is just going to come with some. I know some of you are trying to do email marketing, copywriting, and you could use yourself as a case study. As stupid as that sounds, you could use your own brand as a case study. So then you have retention based emails, which I don't see quite often, where you keep re-interacting with them, and maybe they just bought from an ad that they saw that you threw up. So then these retention based emails, you're essentially telling them, hey, we're having this purchase or this sale that we're gonna give away said watch brand. And actually, the the retention emails is something that I want to go about now, because this is where you're gonna make most of your money. Ideally, and actually, let me explain this to you very clearly, right? So there was 4 million people in that actual audience for Apple Watches, right? For that Apple Watch strap, there was only 4 million people in that. So let's just say that, on the percentile, I would say zero point 0.5 of those people actually buy. That means that there's a list of zero point 0.5. This is going to be, I'm not going to do the math. I fucking hate doing the math for this. But let's just say 10,000 people are your potential buyers and people that are going to be willing to buy your Apple Watch brand, right? So the way traditional dropshipping, or the way people make e-commerce seem, was that once this one person buys, that's it, meaning that you only have 10,000 chances to actually convert these people. And say you leave a bad rep for one of these customers, then that person is not going to come back. But if Apple Watch straps, they get out of style pretty quickly. Once you're wearing them, then you might feel like, okay, maybe I need to reorder. And as if you have that email retention sequence set out to 30 days after they bought the actual product, and you have, hey, we're having a brand new offer for you. We want to get you in right now, and this is something that I would do. And I would do this. I set this up as soon as possible because it's almost guaranteed to fucking save your life. Because if you think about it like this, if you were to build a subscription-based Apple Watch strap thing, then a SaaS. If you build a SaaS, at fucking a subscription Apple Watch strap system, a SaaS. If you build a SaaS, you could actually go out there and keep the LTV of these customers pretty hefty, meaning that for every $1, or set on average for me for those ads, it was for every $10 I was getting one sale. So for every $1 that you throw up, say at first it might be something like $30 gross. This is a fucking ugly ass three. Let's just say, forget about this three. I never did this three. Say that, your take home margin was maybe $30 from this one sale, right? With a subscription based system, and this is going to be up to you with the pricing. You could have like premium tier packages of like higher end styles for more expensive. Let's just price it at 29, or lower end styles for 14.99. And essentially, you every 30 days you ship out one new one or one randomized one, and then there's one that you can sort of get in the middle, and then just say that there's a chance that you do get a high end tier one or a low end tier one, and just surprise me. And then you can sort of have it, have it fill out a quiz of their favorite color, of their favorite whatever. And this goes back again into the email system that you're going to have to implement, because, if you can figure out what their likings are, some of the watch straps that they wish they had, some of the watch straps that, what color, what aesthetics they like, and you can sort of have them fill out a quiz, by gender, by email, by binary, by whatever the fuck. You can essentially increase, this initial $10, right, that you put down for the ads and for the shipping. Then the LTV for the customer is actually driven up. So then your only target is, again, with the way that front end system should ideally work, is for you to get people in as cheap as possible, and then just over time increase your LTV. So say that you're doing the front end system like I explained earlier, and you're bringing in people for $3 to $4, and your LTV is almost guaranteed. Say they stay on for, they get on the highest premium tier, which is another $30, right? So say they stay on with you for 4 months. So from when they bought, they're getting a new brand, a new watch brand, everything. And again, this is on the low end scale, which just means that you have like a good customer retention of, every 30 days, they don't cancel their plan after 30 days. After 3 months, they don't cancel the plan. The LTV is now at a nice and healthy $120 just from implementing a subscription based system, a SaaS. But this is sort of the things that I'm going to break down over the coming days. And obviously, we're going to go into the actual front end, we're going to go into the back end, and then we're actually going to build the product out for you and how it would actually run it. I hate that I'm going to have to build out the store again, but I'm willing to do it so that you guys can take away. And again, the entire reason I'm pushing out ecom as a front end for the time being is so that you guys can develop these skills, so that then you can go out there and sell it. Because this is what I am currently doing. I am building out front end offers, I am building out back end offers, and selling it as a system. And for me, this is even more profitable and it's even more fun, because I get to work in a bunch of different niches. I have some lawyers that I've worked with that, I'm building out their booking system, which is just throwing up a free case evaluation on ads, and that just fucking kills. I have another person that's targeting a CEO. I believe, not even, I don't even know what exactly the targeting ideally is, but they just told me to run with Salesforce people and just pitch them their own customized CRM. I have no clue, like, essentially what their intent. I don't remember what their intended market was at the beginning, but we're having a lot of success just throwing out there at an enterprise level to actual SaaS. So we don't necessarily have like an ideal client, but it's just, throwing that shit out there, putting, that front end offer, which is like, hey, we have a custom CRM that you guys could use, and ideally we want to give you guys a try for 30 days, or just have you, because again, and I'm fucking going into detail again, but essentially with CRMs, if one team member doesn't like it, then chances are that the rest of the team members don't adopt it, just because one or two people don't like it. So it's a little bit hard to sell, but to implement at an enterprise level, those B2B deals they're hefty. They're very nice and chunky. So we're bringing in a large rev share from just going out there and figuring out what these people are, what these people like. And again, this just loops back to building on offers like this, building on backends, and that's really all I have for this video. I hope to see you throughout the next 24 days, because it's gonna be a fucking hell for me. But at the end of, by the 24th, you better wish me a fucking happy birthday. And that's essentially all I have for this video. And again, fucking subscribe to the YouTube channel, because I'm not gonna be uploading this shit for like the next month. I'm gonna take a hiatus, and see you tomorrow.